Midas, I would describe it as a school with a different approach to education.
Midas is an 844 international school for boys that is seeking to embrace and continues to embrace modern educational practices and systems.
I would describe Midas as different or something new from our rotting system that has been going down for the last few decades. So I would say it's a new way or a new light at the end of the tunnel.
The word international for Midas is not really the curriculum, but what is done, the how, the teaching practices, the way the social systems of the school, the thinking and the ideology behind the school. One of the most important values for me is self-discovery. Your son or my child has already started discovering who he is, what he's good at, what he does well, and he follows that with a passion.
I think it's the approach of the pedagogy issues they have undertaken and made the learner the center of the learning. As opposed to the traditional school where the teacher is the center of learning, in Midas I think the center of teaching and learning is the learner.
And the fact that the method is already different, it creates a completely different way of learning, of absorbing information and learning how to do things.
Midas has this approach to learning that is more participatory and a conference set up in the classroom that is different from the traditional schools, which have the teacher being the center of attraction. But at Midas, all students are equal. There's no hierarchy. So every student feels like they are involved in that class.
One of the things that I have observed is that the relationship between the children or the students and the teachers is very healthy. They don't have, teachers do not have a superior, I know better than you, or you are a child, you're stupid and you have no right, I'm the one to tell you what to do, where to go and when to do it. At Midas we have a very understanding, collaborative, yet respectful relationship between the child and the teacher. And I feel that that kind of environment then creates a very easy and a very relaxed atmosphere in which the child can approach the teacher, because the teacher then becomes much more approachable in case the child has a problem, not just an academic problem, because we do take our children there to be taken care of.
I find the method they use is different from the whole godly kind of being on top and talking to students or talking down. Now these teachers are team leaders and they work as a corporation. I like that style.
You cannot claim to be an international school or a modern, school that has not embraced ICT. The children get an opportunity to learn all the time.
The Moodle platform is a new way of learning that is more or less e-learning centered, and it gives an opportunity for benchmarking a student with the rest of the world through the ICT. For me that is, and besides the environment we are living in right now is the 20th century and 21st century, and ICT is everything. So without involving ICT in school, I think we are not actually being serious with education.
The regular 844 school will ask a student to go back to school for tuition, but instead of doing that, Midas sends the work through their learning management system, and therefore the child continues learning, and not only continues learning, they continue getting feedback from the teacher whilst at home. And the parent is also in partnership with this, because the parent monitors what the child is doing at home, talks to the teacher when they need to speak to, and can log on and look at their child's progress or learning journey, even when the child is at school.
For me, when I brought my son there, to sound maybe almost negative, I wouldn't mind if he fails in school but succeeds in life. While here the method which I went to school myself was to succeed in school and we don't care what you do in your life. And that's, for me, I find it's a reversed. You spend most of your life out of school. So I like Midas is preparing you for that, the life outside. Not just to pass school, but to pass your life.
It's a parent that is looking for something different. It's a parent that is aware of what's happening around them. It's a parent that is actually aware that what has been happening in the traditional school, it needs to change. And it's a student that is looking for something more creative, a self-discovery process.
Any parent who knows and who believes that something different can be done, that teaching and learning the way we know it to be, or the way we went to school and found it to be, can be different. Any parent who knows that education is a strong tool which can contribute to changing our world will want their child to go to Midas, because the kind of education they get in Midas is the kind of education that will indeed help them change the world, and not only change the world, change an ever-changing world, so that the child gets an education that helps them to adapt into an ever-changing world, an education that equips them with the so-called soft skills that people always call soft skills, but are very necessary in the kind of world we are living in. If you want different, Midas is the place.
Midas, for instance, if you are a 21st century student or parent, and with the kind of 844 system we have right now, there are so many things that are taught in school that are not practiced outside. And the 844 system, I think, was created so that to be able to make a student who is clearing school, whether it's class 8 or Form 4 or whatever level, to be self-reliant. And I think Midas is trying to approach and give that opportunity to students. So for me, I believe any parent that wants to see a difference in their son, like in terms of leadership, in terms of creativity, in terms of exploring their talent and managing their time, I believe that's a place to go.